Hi, folks. It's Mark Smith with Family Tree Brand Life Coaches. And I have an interesting show for you tonight. I had sort of an easy day today. I only had 6 clients and had some cancellations, got to come home. This is the home office in Indianapolis. Renda won't be joining us tonight in the studio, so to speak, but she'll probably be chatting with us a little bit. Sorry about the ugly chair. This is a gaming chair, and it's ugly, but man, is it comfortable. I don't game. I don't play games. But my assistant got a hold of one of these and thought it was comfortable. And I tell you what, I do therapy in this ugly chair, and I get good evening, Annie. And I get comments on it all the time. They're like, hey, did you get a new chair? So I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to arrive to the show. I'm talking about a subject tonight that, hi, Greg, that I really don't know a lot about. I'm talking about a subject that I really don't know a lot about. The chair isn't that ugly? Okay, cool. The subject, the topic tonight is becoming supernatural in narcissistic abuse recovery. Hey, Liberty, how you doing? The chair spices it up a little bit. All right. Woo, I'm spiced up. I made a video a couple of weeks ago, and I listened to one of y'all. Don't think that I don't look at the comments, because I do. Sergio, hey, buenas noches. It's been a long time. I think it's been a little while. I saw your comment on a video a ways back, but welcome, Sergio. I saw a comment by Sara, Sara C. I won't say her whole name, but it was about a book called Becoming Supernatural: How Common People Are Doing the Uncommon by Dr. Joe Dispenza. And Dr. Joe Dispenza, anybody out there, I know we're just gathering people still. People don't expect me to start until past 8:15, so I'm early for mark time tonight. Dr. Joe Dispenza, who, if you've heard of him, then jump into the conversation. What I picture tonight is a conversation, and not so much me just preaching on something. You get me on family systems and genograms, and you marry your issues, and you're not a victim, and I can preach all night. You know, that's my paradigm. That's where what I'm super good at. This is new material for me. This is neurology and neuroscience and physiology, and it's really a little bit out of my league. I've been listening to this book, and it's all about neuroscience. And but here's the comment that I got from Sara. If I may, she had shared a little bit about a video I had made about the movie It's a Wonderful Life, and she said, if I may, I would like to offer one piece of information to you. Have you ever heard of Dr. Joe Dispenza? He has a book called Becoming Supernatural, which has been a miracle for me. He has a meditation called Tuning into New Potentials. Tuning into new potentials, which is changing my body every day. Sara said. This speaks to what you were saying about how the body keeps the score, the famous book by Bessel van der Kolk on PTSD issues and PTSD treatment. The body keeps the score. So this speaks to what you were saying about how the body keeps the score, and it really, your body holds your pain. This book and the meditations that go with it show you how to allow your mind to take power back so that your body is not acting as your brain. Dr. Joe suggests that your brain should function as your brain and not your body. But what happens with so many of us is one of my videos is called "The Wound is in Living Tissues." The wound is in living tissues of your body. And so what happens is we'll have a trigger. Hi, Carol. We'll have a trigger, and then we'll start thinking negative thoughts, and then the body just starts oozing. That's not a scientific term. The body starts, hey, Jeffrey. Oh, hi, Gettysburg, Jeffrey. The body just starts oozing bad chemicals, bad stuff in the brain, bad stuff in the body. And with this book's approach, Sara said that she's experiencing miracles, true miracles. There's my wife, Ren Spire with a wrench. Hey, babe. Hi, Katie Swan. Hello, Marlene. Hi, Dave Smith. This is Mark Smith. God bless you and your wife and your team. And I am actually crying now because if it would have not been for you all, I would probably be on that same path, blindly following narcissists down dark paths. So that's how I heard of Dr. Joe Dispenza and Becoming Supernatural, how common people are doing the uncommon. So I've been listening to this book for a couple of weeks now, and it's intense. So we're up to 24. We'll probably get up to about 50. So welcome, everybody. I'm really thankful for family systems theory, of whom I think the most brilliant man on the planet is Jerry Wise when it comes to family systems theory. Jerry will be here on the show, hosting the show in 2 weeks. Renda and I are going to a wedding in Alabama, and I'll be returning from that, but Jerry will be holding down the fort in 2 weeks. I'm thankful for the narcissistic abuse recovery paradigm and how doing yoga and meditation and EMDR and talk therapy and exercise and medication and watching YouTube videos. I'm thankful for that information and for that experience. But you can ask my wife. So you can ask Marlene even. She picks up on it. She's got some sensitive attunement to negativity. But if you get re-injured, I'm not Jerry, Dr. Naz. I look like Jerry a little bit. We're a little bit balding. He's got a little bit more hair than me, but no, I'm Mark, not Jerry. Happy to see you, Dr. Naz. When he finds out it's not Jerry, he'll split. But when you get re-injured, high birth of a badass. You're welcome, Dr. Nas, 007. When you get re-injured through life and through working too hard and not getting enough sleep and Marital conflict will stir up negativity and will re-injure you just a teensy bit. Dr. Nas said that he has had an injury from his family of origin again. My wife said, "What? Marital conflict causes negativity in my system?" Yeah, baby. So you have a negative thought, then you have the negative body chemistry, and then you have negative feelings. And it then becomes sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy, really. And then you're releasing all kinds of negative energy in the world. Sometimes when I'm in a negative place and I have negative energy cooking in my body, what happens is I'm laying in bed with my Marlene's picking up joy. Amen. What happens sometimes with Renda and I will be laying in bed just snuggling, and she just said it right there in the comments. My negative energy will reach over and her arm will be on my chest, and it hurt me. The negative energy hurts her arm. Hey, Fleece Delicate, it's Mark, not Mike. And Dr. Nas, I'm not an angel. Honey, am I an angel? My wife will tell you. I'm a lot of things, but I'm probably not an angel. So what I've learned from this book and from Dr. Joe, oh, my wife says I am an angel of sorts. That's sweet, honey. When you keep releasing negative energy in the world, then you're going to keep getting what you've always gotten. And what I've noticed is what I've noticed is that with your recovery process, you have to continue to have positive energy, because if you don't have positive energy, I'm working with a lot of clients who have been working on their family of origin. Oh, Birth of a Badass. I know who you are. Hey, that name seemed familiar. Welcome, Birth of a Badass. I know who you are. Okay. So I've been working with several clients who, like me, feel a little stuck in their thriving potential. I know who you are. Hey, Pam. Welcome. What I've been trying to do is sort of get unstuck and to inject some positive energy. Dr. Naz says, I need some positive energy and fast. Not sure where to get it. Well, Dr. Naz, what I'm suggesting to you is that you read this book, Becoming Supernatural, How Common People Are Doing the Uncommon. And it's by Dr. Joe Dispenza. So I'm going to take my coat off. It's getting a little warmish in here. I thought it wasn't going to be warm, but it is. So we're going to rock and roll here in just a minute. Ah! So this comment from Sara, when she said, Dr. Joe has a meditation called Tuning into New Potentials, which is changing my body every day. And that's what one of the things I wanted to share. Hey, Deborah, Jerry is awesome. this meditation called Tuning into New Potentials. So again, Sarah, for those who didn't hear it, she wrote, "This speaks to what you are saying about how the body keeps the score and how the body really holds your pain. This book and the meditation show how to allow your mind to take power back so that your body is not acting as your brain. Miracles, true miracles." Hey, Jackie. Jackie's eating a late dinner and just sort of chilling and listening. Thank you for writing the name of the book down, honey. I'm not calling you Jackie, honey. I'm calling Brenda, honey. So the tuning in to new potentials meditation is about starting to envision positive things happening in your life instead of envisioning negative things happening in your life. My wife will tell you that oh, somebody's watching from Latvia. Cool. Cool. David. Okay. So my wife will tell you that my tendency is to think more negative thoughts than to think positive thoughts. And sometimes we're working there. She has a little office. I have a little office right next to each other in our beach home down in Myrtle Beach. And she'll say, my negative energy is filling up our little home there. And sometimes she jumps in her car, grabs her dog, and goes to the dog park just to get out of Dodge, just get away from my negative energy. And so, hi, Jilligan. So this is something that I don't know. Hi, Denise. I'm on Denise's pillow there. So this is something that I think all of us need an injection of, and that's positive energy. And so one of the ways that I'm learning how to instill positive energy is through a tool called Mind Movies, which is it's a program. You pay $97 for it, and it's very intuitive, very easy to use, and you can make a little movie and then put it on your phone. And the movie is inspirational and it's filled with affirmations. I'm going to show you a example of a mind movie, and then I'm going to run to the bathroom while you're watching the movie on my phone. Probably too much information. Denise says, or my wife says, she's not good at sharing. I'm not on her pillow. Her phone is on her pillow. So, Mind Movies is the world's #1 visualization tool. And basically what it is, it's a vision board for 2020. It's a high-tech vision board. Mama Tara knows Mind Movies. Okay, so I'm going to put the Mind Movie on for you guys. And I'm going to set it on this. And I'm just going to show you a bit of it. I'm not going to play. I don't think I'll play the whole thing, but check this out. So I watch this in the morning and I watch this in the evening, and it really is an inspiration. I guess I have to start my phone up a little bit here. Give me just one moment. So watch that. I'll be back. Can you guys read that? So, yes, if you're computer savvy, honey, you probably could use another program, but this program is just super intuitive. It has all the affirmations already on it, and it has a lot of pictures on it. But yeah, you could probably use other programs and save the $97, which I encourage you guys to do. But I just love how it has so many positive messages. And I do. I listen every day, in the morning and in the evening. It says, I love my wife, and we are blessed financially. It has a little picture of our backyard and our hot tub. And the thing about having positive energy and having this positive visualization is you may not actually be where you're saying in this, but it's about faith. Dr. Naz asked about do we believe in prayer? I certainly believe in prayer. You can weigh in, honey. I'm pretty sure she believes in prayer as well. But this part says, I choose to be happy. Well, I'm not always as happy as I want to be. I'm not always as happy as my wife wants to be. Flea Delicate says she's going to make a movie at the end of your life. Well, I'd encourage you to make one now so that it can make your life better. Don't wait until you're dead to make a mind movie. It's just a vision board to help you know who you are and where you came from. My wife says, I do totally believe there is a greater power than myself. So my wife is actually sort of co-hosting tonight, which is awesome, and I love it. So talk away, honey. Jackie says prayer changes things. So okay, that's the mind movie. Just to stimulate faith, stimulate positive energy, and picture yourself being prosperous, picture yourself having a healthy relationship, picture yourself being successful. And really what this is, this mind movie that I made, this is what thriving would look like financially. This is what thriving would look like emotionally. This is what thriving would look like relationally. This is what thriving would look like professionally. It's really cool stuff. So again, the woman who came up with this, her name is Natalie Ledwell, and a friend of theirs, she and her husband had made one of these mind movies just with another program, and then she came up with the idea of making a business, and the business has been very successful. And like I said, she calls it the world's #1 visualization tool. So my wife says, Renda says, I think it's powerful to write an unsent letter, which means by that is to write a letter to whomever you need to and say whatever you need to say, but not necessarily send it. Mind Movie, MIND, mindmovie.com. And like I said, I downloaded some of the photos that I had just on my computer. So that took me a little bit longer, but you can make a movie like this in about 3 minutes. And unless you download some of your own photos or use some photos from Facebook. It might take you 10 minutes. But I love doing this, and I love having that message. Nora May, sometimes I pray to people who are still alive. It helps tremendously since I have a hard time opening up to people. It's like I create a listening person in my mind. Nora, pray away. I'm open to that. Annie says, I will share the prosperity aspect with my boyfriend as he was laid off today. And I don't, again, hi, Judy. Again, has anybody heard of this book, Becoming Supernatural, How Common People Are Doing the Uncommon, and Dr. Joe Dispenza? I need some help describing it from people who know a little bit about it. Okay. So I'm always looking for tools that will help us inject positive energy and healing into our system and into healing from complex PTSD and narcissistic abuse. So I got a question from Small Bunny. What should I do if my in-laws harshly judge me for being quiet and aloof? All right, I'm going to need some paper. I can't answer that now because we're going to stay on the topic, but I'll come back to it. Renda, could you note that and bring it up for me again when it's time for questions? So, in-laws, judge, quiet and aloof. I got it. Small Bunny. Okay. Dahir Emni. Hi, Mark. Watching you from London. I have learned a lot from your channel, so I'd like to take this opportunity and say thank you. Dahir, God bless, and thank you for watching. Renda says to Small Bunny, just ignore it. Anyway, I'll answer that in just a little bit. Okay. So if you missed my little video that I was playing on this show, the previous movie on our channel was my first attempt at making a mind movie. I just want you to get the sense of how you can inject positive energy into your system, positive energy into your brain, so it can release positive, healthy chemicals into your system. I was playing cards the other night, and we play a vicious game of, it's called Double Deck Bid Euchre. And me and my nephew, I was playing my other nephew and my niece, and we were down 37 to like minus something or other, -5 or so. We were getting killed. And all of a sudden we came back, and adrenaline was in my system. And when my system gets adrenalized, my hands start to shake. And it's a little bit embarrassing when your hands are shaking while you're trying to play cards. And they just look at me like, dude, you got courage on one arm and Superman on the other arm. There's my Superman. And your hands are shaking. Why? Am I thinking about the woman who narcissistically abused me back in 2015? No, I rarely think about her. She's not that important. She never was that important. It's just adrenaline activates the body, activates some of the symptoms of PTSD. So what's interesting to me, I've only got about a few more minutes on this topic, and then we'll open it up to questions. So if you have questions, here's Sergio. He says, about negative thoughts. I think that what is most difficult is to understand that we have been in a negative mode for many years, and it requires a lot of introspection to notice it. Exactly. So Sergio says, when you've gone through narcissistic abuse, then you're going to have a lot of negative energy in your system, and you may not realize how much negative energy you have and how many negative chemicals are flowing through your body. So, but what's interesting about this is my first main addiction was religious addiction. I was a Bible thumper. I became born again when I was 17. It was very real and it was very sincere, and I loved God. I still love God. But one of the faith journey that I was on is called the faith movement, or the faith paradigm, and that would be Dr. Kenneth Hagin. And so, what happens is people who become religious addicts. I don't know if any of you were religious addicts or not, but you sort of create a psychology. And this man, Dr. Kenneth Hagin, grew up really, really, really poor. I went to his Bible school called Rhema Bible Training Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I graduated in 1984 for a 2-year Bible training course. I went to school, Bible school, with Ellie Mae Clampett, Donna Douglas. Ellie Mae Clampett from the Beverly Hillbillies was one of my schoolmates there at Rhema Bible Training Center. I didn't hang out with her, didn't hang out with Ellie Mae, but she was there. And but the faith movement, Dr. Kenneth Hagin, who was so poor that one day he was out as a little boy in the neighborhood and somebody had a peanut butter sandwich, and Kenneth Hagin got a sniff of that peanut butter sandwich, and it had been so long since he eaten, he fainted. You know you're poor when a peanut butter sandwich will knock you out. Jackie says, I believe he was at our church. Dr. Kenneth Hagin came to Jackie's church. Yeah, he's pretty famous. Aduku 75. What, the Ellie Mae Clampett is a fun fact? Yeah. She has since passed away. Small Bunny, I'm going to answer your question. Does anyone just release a ton of tears and then feel so exhausted? Yes. I not only feel exhausted, I mean, exhausted to where you sleep like a baby you just want to sleep for like 12 hours after a deep cry like that. But I also feel pain lifted off my chest. Pain, one of the most wonderful gifts, wonderful gifts that my wife gives me is sometimes when I do have negative energy, we'll snuggle and she'll rub my chest and I cry and she reaches up and she'll wipe the tears out of my eyes. And I don't get a headache, Jilligan. I feel what Renda says, and that is just a wonderful sense of cleansing. And it's like, what a relief, what a release. It's so wonderful. Renda is an angel. She's not a codependent angel, but she's a true to herself angel. But a lot of what they called them faith teachers, Kenneth Copeland, Kenneth Hagin, they were teaching some of this same stuff. This is more from a secular perspective. They call it the mind of the universe or energetic power or whatever, but they don't use the word God. But it just made me wonder and think, that maybe those Bible thumping religious addicts who created their own psychology, maybe they had a little bit of insight and knowledge. Maybe they had some positive energy, that they seemed prosperous. They seemed happy. They were high on Jesus, and they seemed healthy. And I think, okay. Marlene says Kenneth Copeland is demonic. He's creepy. I don't know if he's demonic. He throws the devil's horns up. I don't know what that means. But I'm not espousing Kenneth Copeland. I'm just saying I find it interesting that religious addicts who believe in faith and prosperity have some of the very same positive energy and positive beliefs as a neuroscientist who is treating not only physical ailments but also PTSD. Okay, so let's go ahead and open things up to questions. I guess most of you who are on the show tonight haven't heard of Dr. Joe Dispenza. Okay, we're getting a little preachy here. Dr. Naz said he asked for a healing partner, and my wife says, "Be careful if you ask for a healing partner." I asked for that, and I got a good man who also brought me the gift of healing my childhood wounds. So, Gilligan, can you talk about what you've learned from Dr. Joe Dispenza? Because most of the people haven't heard about him, and I don't think I'm doing the greatest of jobs explaining his stuff. So type away. Let us know what you've learned from Dr. Joe. But again, I just want to encourage you guys to check it out, to open up your mind. Mark is unfiltered, fleece delicate. I do the same unfiltered thing when I'm tired and near sleep. So Gilligan says what she learned through Dr. Joe is to create your life through intentional thought. To create your life through intentional thought. And that's what this mind movie thing is instead of just having panic attacks and having triggers come up and having that dictate my mood and my energy, and starting to spend too much time in the future worrying. Okay, I got another question from Dr. Nas here. So Gilligan says, thought affects your physical health, and cells respond to chemicals which were created by your thoughts, either negative or positive. Gilligan, you didn't know that you were going to co-host the show tonight? Thoughts affect your physical health. They affect your emotional health. Cells respond to chemicals which were created by your thoughts, and they can be either positive or negative. This isn't Houdini voodoo that we're talking about. It's really, really, really true. One of the higher energies, higher emotions that can create positive energy is what my wife is talking about, and that's gratitude. And she makes a daily gratitude list, and that creates positive energy. Neuroplasticity. Absolutely. Okay. Anything more, Gilligan, that you want to say as your co-hosting role here about Dr. Joe? Jump in if you have anything more to say. Now I'm going to throw the show open for questions. So does anybody have questions? I've got 2 questions written down. So back we go. So Dr. Nas had a question here. The question was, Mark, after you left the Narcissist and moved, did you start to feel better? Yes and no. When I left, or when there was this grand finale, shattering experience in April of 2015, I had her out of my life, but I really wasn't at all feeling better. It's the most pain I've ever felt in my life, going through a shattering. If anybody has been through a shattering, it's just the most painful thing known to mankind, I believe. I've said before that narcissistic abuse is the most painful thing, and my nieces and nephews and my son thought I was a kook. But if you've been through it, then you'll know how painful it can be and how wicked and horrible and destructive it is. So, I don't know. Annie says, my gratitude list. I'm thankful that Girl Scout cookies go on sale next Monday. Nora May left in 2015 as well. My wife says to Dr. Nas, surround yourself with people who understand narcissistic abuse syndrome. So Jilligan is sharing further, and she says, what she's also learning from Dr. Joe is that you can create your life and experience by deciding each day to get up with the correct attitude and purposefully plan your day instead of just stumbling through life being helplessly affected. You can create your life and experience by deciding each day to get up with the correct attitude and purposefully plan your day. So that's why first thing I get up in the morning, I'm standing there brushing my teeth and I watch my mind movie about a healthy relationship, a successful business, a healthy body, healthy finances, and just being having positive energy and being blessed. So I hope that you guys have gotten the message. Dr. Joe Dispenza, check it out. Okay. So Dr. Nas, so here it is 2020, and I went through my shattering over 4.5 years ago. And here's the thing. I don't feel shattered, but I don't feel like I'm fully thriving either, because life has a way of you stand up, you get knocked down. Stand up again, you get knocked down. Am I the only one who has experienced this? Is sort of a continuing struggle with negative energy and a continuing struggle with some of the symptoms of narcissistic abuse. Jilligan says that Dr. Joe is in a wonderful movie called What the Bleep Do We Know? It's got to be cool if the name of the movie is What the Bleep Do We Know? So Jilligan says it's an amazing movie. Okay. Dahir asked, what book would you recommend for sons of narcissistic mothers? Most books address the effects of being raised by narcissistic mothers in general. I don't know, Dahir, um, about a book recommended for sons of narcissistic mother. I am a son of a narcissistic mother. My mother has passed many years ago, but I would say um, in 2 weeks, why don't you ask Jerry, or you can reach out to Jerry. Just Google Jerry Wise, and you'll find his contact information. And he might know. If anybody would know, it would be Jerry. If there's a book specifically written for sons of narcissistic mothers, I'm not sure. Does anybody know? Okay. So, Small Bunny says, my mother-in-law is a spiritual narcissist and she's constantly judging my performance. So, Small Bunny, earlier you had a question. You said, what do you do if your in-laws judge you for being quiet and aloof? Well, here's my answer to that. Um, and that would be, it seems like your mother-in-law gets under your skin. And if your mother-in-law gets under your skin, then it's a form of emotional reactivity. And people who are really individuated, pardon my language, they don't give a crap what people think about them. They just know who they are, and they're centered in their own being, and they don't care if you like them. They don't care if you don't like them. They know who they are, and they are individuated. So, um, I think the individuated stance would be to not care in one slightest bit. If, first of all, when somebody gives you feedback, first of all, ask yourself if it might be true. Sometimes my wife and I are having a fight, and she'll say something about me, and I'm like, okay, that's true. Yeah, I'm that way. I'm sorry. End of fight. I don't always do it that way. Sometimes she says something to me, and I get fussy britches on her. Uh, you know what, though? Less and less. I would say um, my wife and I are able to hear each other and take in the things that fit and let go of the things that don't fit. So, Small Bunny, chill, relax, know yourself, love yourself, be individuated within yourself. Maybe you are quiet and aloof. If you are, quit being quiet and aloof. If you're not, don't worry about what your in-laws think. If it's not true, then they're wrong, and just have joy and be happy and pray for them, and don't let it bother you. Okay. Dr. Nas says, Mark, did you need a time to be away from everyone for a while? Um, uh, Boy, there's a good comment right after that. I was so shattered that I was blessed enough that God sent me an angel named Brenda, and I probably should have taken a couple years to be alone, but instead I leaned into Brenda. So that's the answer to that question. Plamina Evona, just remember that everyone is entitled to an opinion, Small Bunny, but don't internalize the other's opinion. That's good feedback. Um, so, Dr. Nas, I guess what I'm saying is Renda showed up right about the same time as my shattering, and we weren't romantically involved or anything, but She was just somebody that I leaned into as a friend. So I should have taken a couple years to be alone, but I fell in love with an angel instead. Okay. So there was a comment up here by Sergio. Sergio says, start to say nice things to yourself when you do something, even if it's a simple thing like brushing your teeth. Hey, you, self, good job brushing your teeth. That's an example of creating positive energy. So thank you, Sergio. Start to say nice things when you do something that's even simple. So that's what I'm talking about, is creating positive energy. We're like, you remember those old albums, vinyl albums, and it would get stuck in a groove and it would go around and say the same thing over and over and over again. Many of us who have experienced narcissistic abuse syndrome, we're like that. Our body chemistry is screwed up. Our body chemistry is negative and damaged and filled with trauma and wounding in the very fabric of our body. And it takes a while, and it takes intentional injecting of positive energy, and that's what I've found missing in much of the information out there on narcissism. There's everybody wants to talk about the narcissist, and it's sort of cool. It's sort of like a cool topic. It's a sexy topic. If somebody makes a video and they say, have gratitude, they'll get 1,000 views on YouTube. That if they make a video, have gratitude to get away from a malignant narcissist, they'll have 10,000 views. But the work that's most important isn't understanding the narcissist, it's understanding ourselves and moving from negative energy to positive energy. Tahir says that she thinks that I should write a book about being raised by a narcissistic mother, because there are gender differences in the ways males and females respond to narcissistic mothers. I will encourage you to watch my video. I made a video like 2016 or so, 2017, and I didn't really think that much about it. It was about borderline mothers. And halfway through, there was a technical difficulty. I was going to share a poem that I'd written for my mother's funeral, and halfway through it cut it off. And that video, talking about the same thing that you're talking about, Dahir, and that is the borderline mother and her male son, all sons are male, I suppose. And the energy and the wounding that took place, it turned out to be our most watched video. And we don't have videos with millions of views, but it has 200,000 views, because people out there they are interested in the subject of borderline personality disorder. And I know a little bit of that topic. My wife says another good book for the topic that I spoke on tonight about positive energy is The Shadow Effect by Debbie Ford. Soren is in the house. Welcome, Soren. Soren says, I know, Mark, I wish that somebody had a video of how to live life as a human being on the earth. That's severely lacking a lot of the channels, I think. uh, Flea Delicate says, I love unfiltered, Mark. Okay. Soren says, I'm on the edge all the time. I'm ramped up like I'm about to get the snot knocked out of me. Damn PTSD. I'm on edge all the time, says Soren. I'm ramped up like I'm about ready to get the snot knocked out of me all the time. Damn the PTSD. So I relate to that, Soren, because I too go through life with a lot of tension, a lot of negative energy, a lot of fear, a lot of, I still, after 4.5 years, I'm very claustrophobic. If I get in a big crowd, I get freaky. After 4.5 years, I still cannot handle loud noises, and especially loud music. If I'm in the mood for loud music, it's all good. But if I'm in the car and my lovely wife is driving and she wants to rock and roll, sometimes we get sort of fussy britches with each other because she wants to rock and roll, but I'm still not over that. Dr. Naz says, dude, I am so claustrophobic. Honey, why don't you talk about airports for you? I don't know your airport phobia as well as maybe what you think I do. So you can write that. So Dahir Arnie's Emmy says that she had watched the video about my mother, my borderline mother, and she said she thought it was very insightful and she'll watch it again. So we've got about 30 minutes left, 20, 30 minutes left. And I am out of material and I don't have my rubber chicken. I saw the rubber chicken at the office today in a drawer, and I almost grabbed the rubber chicken to scream the inner child pain, but I am out of material and I need some questions. Sharon, how do you and Renda resolve the loud music issue? Well, sometimes she plays it medium loud and I'll put in some speakers in my ear. Sometimes we'll not have music. She suggested that on future trips, she's not going to take me, but she'll go by herself. And here she says Mark usually wins and there's no music. So Annie says she misses Fernando the rubber chicken. Jackie says there's a question about clutter from Dr. Naz. Mark, do you have thoughts on clutter and having things simple in your life and get rid of? What I know about clutter is if you grow up with a lot of chaos in your life, and if you grew up with a borderline mother like mine, trust me, you grew up with a lot of chaos. So when you have a lot of chaos in your life, then clutter, let's say it's Thanksgiving, and this, what was a nice big glass of unsweetened iced tea, is a glass of Bailey's Irish Cream, and I'm playing double deck euchre. My brother, who suffers from this chaotic overreaction to supposed clutter, my brother I would get up and go to the bathroom. I'd come back and my Bailey's Irish cream, man, if it was Bailey's Irish cream, it was be this big, that would be an alcohol problem. But he'll take the glass and put it in the dishwasher, and I'll say, "Where's my Bailey's Irish cream?" And he'll say, "I was just cleaning up." That's the kind of oversensitivity to chaos. And so, yeah, when I move into a new place, I usually stay up half the night or all the night putting stuff away, hanging pictures, putting stuff in drawers, because I hate the clutter. I cannot stand to be in an environment where there's chaos and clutter. So I don't know if that addresses your question, Dr. Naz. Nora says, for me, the catastrophizing started to end naturally. That's wonderful. I guess the positive energy I've been working on kicked in, and I thought, maybe it's not that. You're just having extremely bad anxiety. So for me, the catastrophizing started to end naturally. I guess the positive energy I've been working on kicked in. And I thought, maybe it's not that. So I think that is what thriving is about. It's about having positive energy and not catastrophizing and not worrying and not being overly claustrophobic and not being triggered and injecting, joy and higher emotions. One of the meditations that you can get on iTunes by Dr. Joe, let me go over those. There's several meditations that I got from iTunes from Dr. Joe. Let me find it. So one is, one is a meditation on the pineal gland, tuning into higher dimensions, I think it's called. It doesn't give the name of the. Anyway, on iTunes, there are 4 different meditations that you can download. Like I said, one is on the pineal gland. One is tuning into new potentials, and it's a guided meditation. I found out how to turn this on correctly. One is reconditioning the body to a new mind. This is really my favorite one. Reconditioning the body to a new mind. And what he does is he'll run you through practicing having positive emotions, practicing gratitude, practicing joy. What would your body be like if you were experiencing joy? And he runs you through a whole bunch, because that's what you have to have, a clear intention and an elevated emotion to kick into impacting your future in a positive way. So reconditioning the body to a new mind, guided meditation from iTunes by Dr. Joe Dispenza. Okay. The pineal gland, tuning into higher dimension of time and space. Another one, I mentioned tuning into new potentials. And the last one, okay. Blessing the energy centers. I had never been a believer in chakras or energy centers. but I'm starting to believe in that. My wife has always been a believer in that. So another one of the downloads you can get on iTunes from Dr. Joe Dispenza is blessing of your energy centers. Okay. When it comes to orderliness and getting away from chaos, my wife says my shirts were folded in squares and stood up in colored order. And I've seen this. I've seen that drawer. I think my Renda, you're better with that. That your shirts aren't quite as compulsively filed as they have been in the past. Jackie says, my dear friend Kelly instructed me to throw out a portrait that was painted of my ex-fiance from years ago. I cannot believe that I went past you. I cannot believe that I had such a difficult time doing it. I'm married, but I was stuck. Soren says, Renda, I had the same issue of filing away of shirts. Growing up, I would constantly rearrange my clothing to try to control everything. Same way by playing the same video over and over again. Dr. Mark, what about pictures of the past, things from parents? Is it good to get rid of things like that? Maybe you're asking the wrong person. Dr. Naz, I tend to be very, I don't know, I'm very sentimental. Just sitting here on my desk, my grandmother collected owls. And so my grandmother was married to a narcissist and she gave birth to a narcissist. My mother, she wasn't a narcissist. She was an empath and a codependent. And I have many little things from my grandparents, not as many things from my mother because they give me the creeps, but just things from the past I tend to be very sentimental about. Colleen Falcone, welcome. She says, I went to an interview today and they asked, what has held you back in your career? My real answer was the psychological trauma caused by my narcissist and my alcoholic father. I wonder if you went on an interview and you started talking about narcissistic abuse, if you'd get the job. Maybe not. Okay, I got behind on my comments here. My wife says I got rid of any pictures of my ex, and I have very limited pictures of my childhood. Flea Delicate suggests the book Spark of Joy by Maria Kondo with a K, How to Organize Your Wardrobe and Your Life. My wife says, I had to realize that this was a toxic and abusive relationship, and I needed to confront my issues, and then I could go and grieve. And she suggests a book for this, Dr. Naz, Codependent No More by Melody Beatty. Soren, question. As we age, do we make new healthy friends? I realize that my friends aren't really friends, and I want to create better patterns in 2020. Soren, to answer your question, I don't think that you get healthier friends just by aging. You get healthier friends by becoming healthier and having joy and having energy. Um, I tend to be a really strong introvert, and much of my energy is sort of soaked up by seeing a lot of clients. And so um, I'm not as good at making friends and building friendships as my wife is. My wife is just somebody who's more outgoing and more filled with joy and has more energy for friendships. But no, I think as we get healthier, we're going to attract better, healthier friends, just as we're going to attract healthier people to be romantically inclined with. Dr. Nas says, as we age, it is harder to find new friends because she stays in the house so much. And that's a total pattern right now. Jilligan says, I did meet some really nice people during that few years that I volunteered to foster for a rescue group. That was a wonderful experience, and I hope to do it again. We're down to about 10 to 15 minutes. Does anybody else have any other questions? My wife has a comment. She says you can make new friends at 12-step groups, 12-step meetings. Jackie says another book is Remember There is Light After Darkness, Never Lose Hope. Is that a book title or is that an encouragement? Soren says maybe volunteering would be good. I'm wondering how people find other healthy people. Where you don't find it is other healthy people. You don't find them on Match.com. That's what I would say. Taurus wins C-PTSD. What that stands for is complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And by complex, it means chronic. It means you have PTSD and you've had it over and over and over and over again, and you keep getting injured, re-injured over and over and over again. And it's chronic and it's debilitating and it's a bitch. That's complex PTSD. Annie says, I still have my wedding photo album. I went through a divorce in 2013. I thought my kids might want the album, but now I'm not so sure. It would be painful for them to look as well. Soren laughed and said, yeah, I've abandoned online dating. Every woman I've met online is totally over the top nuts. Yeah, that was my experience in online dating. It's where I met the borderline narcissistic abusing woman that that I allowed to lead to my shattering. That's the thing is what I want to stress to people is we've been traumatized. We haven't been victimized. We have not been victimized, but we sure as hell been traumatized. Any other questions? This is about the time I would break out Fernando the Rubber Chicken. Meeting people, Human says, start a club at a library on any topic. That's a great idea. Flea Delicate says, just remember not to be too skeptical. Colleen says, for me, having real friends is hard because of my insecurities of them abandoning me. It sucks not to be able to live the better to be loved and lost mentality. I mean, that I guess would apply not only to friendships, but it would apply to romantic love, to having insecurities about them abandoning you, and then not to be able to have the better to have loved and lost mentality. Any other question? Akudu 75. When she talks, I listen. She's really smart. When you are abused by a parent throughout your life, you attract abusive friends and abusive romantic partners. Ain't that the truth? Then it becomes chronic. The only way to break the pattern is to do major healing. Amen. That's really good stuff. Human says, build a bulletin board in your neighborhood for people to communicate. Good idea. Cool. Flea Delicate says, our compatibility was 52%. I was the 50 and he was the 2%. Mark, how do you make a new friend? Explain the past. Do you, as you make a new friend, explain the past? It's hard to explain narcissistic abuse unless people have been through it. I have one really, really good, deep friend from 20 something years, and we talk about deep, therapeutic, wonderful, healing things. But when we're in Myrtle Beach and we're just trying to make neighborhood friends, if I started talking about my childhood wounds, they'd think I was nuts. Because people generally outside of recovery circles, 12-step circles, narcissistic abuse recovery circles, they're generally sort of shallow and they really don't have the depth, that we have, that we're used to having. My wife says that she doesn't share her past with just anyone because people can use your past against you. Dr. Nas says she needs a cover answer to new friends. I don't know. Be authentic, but be careful. Colleen says, yes, I feel like I'm saying I'm an orphan and I have no family. It's easier than explaining why I haven't talked to them in 3 years. My wife, Renda, says some of my best friends I met in recovery. Human says you have to go outside your comfort zone. Give a speech about anything at your local town meeting. Just speak about love. Human, you sound like somebody who's really good at making friends. I like that. Nora May, I thought I reached nirvana at age 18. I was happy and I was at peace with life, and I had no idea sometimes how to win my days. I had no idea sometimes how to win my days. I just hope I can get back my intelligence at some point. That's sort of sad in a way that when we were young and many of us, when we're 18 years old, were really well defended psychologically. Let me draw that for you. We get narcissistically abused as children when we're pretty defenseless, but most people from mid to late teens on through when you get shattered by a narcissist, or you experience the reenactment of your family of origin wounding. So from teenage years until you as a young person in your 20s, or many of us get enmeshed with somebody, and Mother Nature wants us to fall in love, get married, and have babies. And then this lasts as a young person for about 7 years. And then you're up to your eyeballs in diapers because Mother Nature wants you to start procreating and, have babies, fall in love, get married, and have babies. But then, whether you marry a narcissist or whether you don't, I'm not married to a narcissist. I'm not married to a borderline, but I am married to somebody who our pain opens up the holes in our defense mechanisms. That's what marriage, that's what romantic love is meant to do. So, this kind of relationship where you struggle with pain in your relationship, that's not narcissistic abuse. That's marriage. That's love. That's romantic love. When we grow up with narcissists, then we reenact our childhood pain as being shattered as a little kid and abused as a little kid by a narcissist. And then we experience this. And that's shattering. Too much pain, too much trauma, too much wounding, too much negativity, too many triggers. I can't recommend it. It's hard to recover from. That's why I'm recommending this positivity book, this positive energy book, this sort of new tool, if you haven't heard of it, by Dr. Joe Dispenza, Becoming Supernatural, How Common People Are Doing the Uncommon. I want to reread. There's more people on the show. Why did I talk about this book tonight? Because one of your own, Sara, who hasn't joined us yet tonight, I don't believe, but who probably will see the show eventually, she wrote, "May I offer a piece of information? Have you heard of Dr. Joe Dispenza? He has a book called Becoming Supernatural, which has become a miracle for me. He has a meditation called Tuning into New Potential, which has changed my body day by day. This speaks to what you were saying about how the body keeps the score and how the body holds our pain. This book and the meditation. So the book you can get on audible.com, you can get it on Amazon. The meditations you can get on iTunes. The meditations show you how to allow your mind to take the power back, that your body is not so that your body isn't acting as a brain. Miracles, true miracles. God bless you and your wife and your team. I'm actually crying right now because if it wasn't for you all, I would probably be on that same path, blindly following narcissists down dark paths. Soren says, I think it comes down to emotional self-reliance. Flea Delicate is calling Jackie Guy. Guy and Jackie isn't Guy, it's Jackie. Marlene says it's called cell memory. Exactly, Marlene. That's exactly right. Colleen says, my father won't take any responsibility of how he is abuse, and that led to her drugs and ultimately to her losing her son. the comment on a recent video, Gilligan, to answer your question, who wrote to you about it, was Sara, Sara, and the first letter of her last name is C. So Sergio says, I'm 34 and I've never been married, thank God. But I was raised in a narcissistic family, which was influenced negatively from a guru from a cult. How interesting, Sergio. I was talking about religious addiction earlier, and that's a form of religious addiction. Soren says, yes, family members rarely take responsibility. They say, you made your own choices. And he says, my bastard parents say that all the time. So many of you are saying that you've never been married, and some of us have been married, several times. My marriage to Renda is my second marriage and my last and final marriage. Right, honey? Oh, she's still with us. Gilligan's never been married either. We're down to about 3 minutes. Does anybody have any other? My wife says, yup. Final marriage. The truth is that marriage is hard. And I know I'm going to have to keep injecting positive energy into my system and have time and energy for my wife, or she might fire my ass, because she's healthy and she really has gotten a lot healthier than she used to be. Oh, she says, if this marriage doesn't work, she's retired. That's not what I meant, honey. I meant that this would work. Okay. We were thinking different things. Well, listen, folks, I've enjoyed this tonight. It's been a difficult topic for me because it's so new to me. But trust me, we as a community of people need all the tools we can get. And I'm not the only one out there who suffers from continued negativity. I'm not the only one who suffers from complex PTSD. And I'm just offering you another tool. This Mind Movies is a tool. These Joe Dispenza videos or downloads on meditations are just a tool. So check it out. Jackie said something funny up here. Let me back up. My hubby says we're like geese. We are soulmates for life. Dr. Nazi said, oh, I wish you weren't going. We got to go. Soren says, good to see you, great people. Y'all give me hope. Sharon has one last second question. How do I deal with a friend who seems paralyzed by her anxiety without enabling her? Wow. My wife would be a good one to answer that question because I suffer sometimes from paralyzing anxiety, and she wants to be supportive of me, but she can't reach in and carry my ass. So how about this? Suggest that she get this book on becoming supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza, and to deal with, because anxiety is a dark energy, it's a negative energy, it's a destructive energy. It introduces all kinds of negative chemicals into your body. And you can't save somebody like that. We're not God. They have to do their own recovery work. That's what my wife would say. So thank you for watching tonight. I love you guys, and I hope that this speaks to you who were able to join us on the show tonight, and also speak to you um, uh, when you watch the recording. We will not be back in 2 weeks, Jackie. Jerry will be back in 2 weeks. So Jerry Wise, the great Jerry Wise, the legendary Jerry Wise, whose practice is as a life coach is soaring beyond anything you can imagine, is we're going to have the blessing of him teaching and sharing his experience in 2 weeks on the show. My wife says, I feel that Mark and I are soulmates. I read a Wise article recently that said that soulmates is somebody who sees your jagged edges, who sees the parts of you that have been weathered by love. And I think she's typing some more. Sergio says, gracias, Marks, buenas noches. Jilligan says, Jerry is the bomb. I'm waiting for my wife's comment. I don't think we can leave the chat open. I think once we close the movie, it shuts down. So Jackie says, Brenda and Mark and all the beautiful people, I wish you all a wonderful and positive week. Okay, so Soren says, I think it will stay open. Okay, well, y'all chat away then. Chat away. Make yourselves at home. Okay, so my wife ends the show by saying, and by life, your soulmate, who sees the wars that you fight and who chooses to stand behind you. A soulmate is somebody who sees the wars that you fight and chooses to stand behind you anyway. Nora says, thanks for chatting anyway. Thanks, Mark. Enjoy chatting to each other. Enjoy Jerry Wise in 2 weeks. God bless you all. I'll see you in about 4 weeks. Good night.